You could do with a little less baking and a little more living life. She's being prickly, and she's never prickly with me. Youth is truly wasted on the young. She frowns. My legs ache. Get me some Tylenol PM, would you? I leap up, eager to be in her good graces again. Where do you keep it? In the kitchen drawer by the sink. I rummage around, but I don't see it. Just batteries, talcum powder, a stack of McDonald's napkins, sugar packets, a black banana. Covertly, I throw the banana in the trash. Stormy, I don't see your Tylenol PM in here. Is there anywhere else it could be? Forget it, she snaps, coming up behind me and pushing me to the side. I'll find it myself. Do you want me to put on some tea? Stormy is old, that's why she's acting this way. She doesn't mean to be harsh. I know she doesn't mean it, tea is for old ladies. I want a cocktail. Coming right up, I say, my scrapbooking to the oldies class has officially begun. I won't deny that I'm disappointed with the turnout. So far it's just Stormy, Alicia Ito, who is sprightly and put together, short, buff nails, pixie cut, and wily Mr. Morales, who I think has a crush on Stormy. Or Alicia. It's hard to know definitively, because he flirts with everyone, but they both have full pages in the scrapbook he's working on. He's decided to title it The Good Old Days. He's decorated Stormy's page with music notes and piano keys and a picture of the two of them dancing on disco night last year. Alicia's page he's still working on, but his focal point is a picture of her sitting on a bench in the courtyard, gazing off into space, and he's affixed some flower stickers around it. Very romantic. I haven't got much of a budget, so I've brought my own supplies. I've also instructed the three of them to collect scraps from magazines and other little baubles and buttons. Stormy's a pack rat like me, so she has all kinds of treasures. Lace from her kid's christening. Gowns, a matchbook from the motel where she met her husband, don't ask, she said, old ticket stubs to a cabaret she went to in Paris. I piped up, in 1920s Paris? Did you ever meet Hemingway? And she cut me with her eyes and said she obviously wasn't that old and I needed a history lesson. Alicia's style is more minimalist and clean. With my black felt tip calligraphy pen, she writes descriptions in Japanese underneath each picture. What does it say here? I ask, pointing to a description below a picture of Alicia and her husband, Phil, at Niagara Falls, holding hands and wearing yellow plastic ponchos. Alicia smiles. It says the time we got caught in the rain, so Alicia's a romantic too. You must miss him a lot. Phil died a year ago. I only met him a couple of times, back when I'd help out Margot with Friday cocktail hour. Phil had dementia, and he didn't talk much. He'd sit in his wheelchair in the common room and just smile at people. Alicia never left his side. I miss him every day, she says, tearing up. Stormy jostles her way between us, green glitter pen tucked behind her ear, and says, Alicia, you need to jazz up your pages more. She flicks a sheet of umbrella stickers Alicia's way. No, thank you, Alicia says stiffly, flicking the page back at Stormy. You and I have different styles. Stormy's eyes narrow at this. I quickly go over to the speakers and turn up the volume to lighten the mood. Stormy dances over to me and sings, Johnny Angel, Johnny Angel. You're an angel to me. We put our heads together in chorus. I dream of him and me and how it's gonna be. When Alicia goes to the bathroom, Stormy says, ugh, what a bore. I don't think she's a bore, I say. Stormy points at me with her hot pink manicured nail. Don't you dare go liking her better than me just because you're both Asian. Hanging around a retirement home, I've gotten used to the vaguely racist things old people say. At least. Stormy doesn't use the word Oriental anymore. I like you both equally, I tell her. There's no such thing, she sniffs. No one can ever like anyone exactly the same. Don't you love your kids the same? Of course not. I thought parents didn't have favorites. Of course they do. My favorite's my youngest, Kent, because he's a mama's boy. He visits with me every Sunday. Loyally I say, well, I don't think my parents had favorites. I say it because it seems like the right thing to say, but is it true? I mean, if somebody put a gun to my head and said I had to choose, who would I say was Daddy's favorite? Margot, probably. They're the most alike. She's genuinely into documentaries and bird watching. Just like him. Kitty's the baby, which automatically gives her an edge. Where does that leave me, the middle song girl? Maybe I was Mommy's favorite. I wish I could know for sure. I'd ask Daddy, but I doubt he'd tell the truth. Margot might. I'd never be able to pick between Margot and Kitty. But if, say, they were both drowning and I could only throw one a life jacket, it would probably have to be Kitty. Margot would never forgive me otherwise. Kitty's both of ours to care for. The thought of ever losing Kitty puts me in a kinder, more contemplative mood, and so that night after she's asleep, I bake off a tray of snickerdoodles, her favorite cookie. I have bags of cookie dough in the freezer, frozen into perfect cylindrical balls so that when any of us gets a taste for cookies, we can have them in 20 minutes flat. She'll have a nice surprise when she opens her lunch bag tomorrow. I let Jamie have a cookie too, even though I know I shouldn't. But he keeps looking up at me with sorrowful puppy eyes and I can't resist. What are you daydreaming about? Peter taps my forehead with his spoon to get my attention. We are at Starbucks doing homework after school. I dump 2 raw sugar packets into my plastic cup and stir it all up with my straw. I take a long sip, and sugar granules crunch satisfyingly against my teeth. I was thinking about how it would be neat if people our age could be in love like it's the 1950s. Right away I wish I didn't say in love, because Peter's never said anything about being in love with me, but it's too late, the words are already out of my mouth, so I just press on and hope he didn't catch it. In the 50s, people just dated, and it was as easy as that. Like one night Bert might take you to a drive-in movie, and the next night Walter might take you to a sock hop or something. Bemused, he says, what the hell is a sock hop? It's like a dance, like in Greece. Peter looks back at me blankly. You've never seen Greece? It was on TV last night. Never mind. The point is, back then you weren't somebody's girl until you had a pin. A pin? Peter repeats, yes, a fellow would give a girl his fraternity pin, and it meant they were going steady. But you weren't official until you had the pin. But I'm not in a fraternity. I don't even know what a fraternity pin looks like. Exactly, I say. Wait, are you saying you want a pin or you don't want a pin? I'm not saying it either way. I'm just saying, don't you think there was something cool in the way it used to be? It's old-fashioned, but it's almost. What's Margot always saying? Post-feminist. Wait. So do you want to go on dates with other guys? He doesn't sound upset. Necessarily, just confused, no. I'm just making an observation. I think it would be cool to bring back casual dating. There's something sweet about it, don't you think? My sister told me she wishes she didn't let things get so heavy with her and Josh. You said yourself how you hated how serious it got with Genevieve. If we break up, I don't want things to ever get so bad that we can't be in the same room together. I want to still be friends no matter what. Peter dismisses this. With me and Jen, it's complicated because of who Jen is. It's complicated because of who Jen is. It's not like with me and you. You're a different. I can feel my face get all flush again. I try not to sound too eager as I say, like different how? I know I'm digging for a compliment, but I don't care, you're easy to be with. You don't make me get all crazy and worked up, you're. Peter's voice trails off as he looks at my face. What? What did I say? My whole body feels tight and stiff. No girl wants to hear what he just said. No girl. A girl wants to get a boy crazy and worked up. Isn't that part of being in love? I mean that in a good way, Lara Jean. Are you mad? Don't be mad. He rubs his face tiredly. I hesitate. Peter and I tell each other the truth. That's how it's been since the beginning. I'd like it to stay that way, on both sides. But then I catch the sudden worry in his eyes, the uncertainty, and it's not something I'm used to seeing on him. I don't like to see it. We've only been back together a couple of weeks, and I don't want to start a new fight when I know he didn't mean any harm. I hear myself say, no, I'm not mad, and just like that, I'm not anymore. After all, I'm the one who was worrying about going too far too fast with Peter. Maybe it's a good thing he doesn't get crazy and worked up over me. The clouds in his face clear away instantly, and he is sunny and bright again. That's the Peter I know. He gulps at his tea. See, that's what I mean, Lara Jean. That's why I like you. You just get it. Thank you. You're welcome. Early morning before school, Josh is chiseling ice off his windshield when I run out to my car. Daddy's already scraped the ice off mine and started the engine and turned on the heat. By the looks of Josh's car, he's not going to make it to school on time. We've hardly seen Josh since Christmas. After all the strangeness with me and then the breakup with Margot, he's been a ghost in this house. He leaves a little earlier for school now, comes home a little later. He never reached out to me when all the video stuff happened either, though part of me was relieved for that. I didn't want to hear "I told you so" from Josh about how he was right about Peter. I back out my driveway, and at the last second I open the window and lean toward it. Do you want a ride? I call out to Josh, his eyes widen in surprise. Yeah. Sure. He throws his ice scraper into his car and grabs his backpack, then comes running over. Climbing in, he says, "Thanks, Lara Jean." He warms his hands on the heating vents. We make our way out of the neighborhood, and I'm driving carefully, because the roads are icy from the night before. You've gotten really good at driving. Josh says, "Thanks. I have been practicing, on my own and with Peter. I still get nervous sometimes, but each time I get in the car and drive, it's a little bit less, because now I know I can do it." You only know you can do something if you keep on doing it. We're a few minutes from school when Josh asks, "When are we going to talk again?" Just tell me so I have a general idea. We're talking right now, aren't we? You know what I mean. What happened with me and Margot was between us. Can't you and I still be friends like we were before? Josh, of course we'll still be friends. But you and Margot have been broken up less than a month. No, we broke up in August. She decided she wanted to get back together 3 weeks ago. And I said no. I sigh. Why did you say no, though? Was it just the distance? Josh sighs too. Relationships are hard work. You'll see. After you've been in it with Kavinsky longer, you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh my God, you're such a know-it-all. The biggest know-it-all I ever met, besides my sister. Which one? I can feel a giggle bubbling up inside of me, which I push down. Both. They're both know-it-alls. One more thing. He hesitates, then keeps going. I was wrong about Kavinsky. The way he's handled this whole video thing, I can tell he's a good guy. Thanks, Joshy. He really is. He nods, and there is a comfortable quiet between us, and I'm glad for the bad weather we had last night, glad for the ice on his windshield this morning. After school the next day, I'm sitting on a bench, waiting for Peter out front, when Genevieve walks out the double doors on her phone. If you don't tell her, I will. I swear I'll do it. My heart stills. Who is she talking to? Not Peter. Her friends Emily and Judith burst out the doors then. And she abruptly hangs up. Where the hell have you bitches been? She snaps, they exchange a look. Jen, chill out, Emily says, and I can tell she is walking that tightrope, a little bit feisty but careful not to further incur her wrath. We still have plenty of time to shop. Genevieve notices me then, and her peevish expression disappears. Waving, she says, "Hey, Lara Jean. Are you waiting for Kavinsky?" I nod, and blow on my fingers just to have something to do. Also, it's cold, that boy's always running late. Tell him I'll call him later tonight, okay? I nod without thinking, and the girls walk away, arms linked. Why did I nod? What is wrong with me? Why can't I ever come up with a good comeback? I'm still berating myself when Peter appears. He slides onto the bench beside me and slings his arm around my shoulders. Then he ruffles the top of my head the way I've seen him to do to Kitty. What up, Covey? Thanks for making me wait for you outside in the cold, I say, pressing my freezing fingers on his neck. Peter yelps and jumps away from me. You could have waited inside. He has a point. That's not what I'm mad about anyway. Jen says to tell you she'll call you later tonight. He rolls his eyes. She's such a shit stirrer. Don't let her get to you, Covey. She's just jealous. Standing up, he offers me his hands, which I accept begrudgingly. Let me take you for a hot chocolate to warm up your poor frozen body. We'll see, I say. In the car, he keeps sneaking peeks at me, checking to see if I'm still annoyed. I don't keep up my chilly routine for much longer, though. It takes up too much energy. I let him buy me a hot chocolate and I even share it with him. But I tell him he can't have any of the marshmallows. That night my phone buzzes on my nightstand, and I know without looking that it's Peter looking for more reassurance. I take off my headphones and pick it up. Hi. What are you doing? His voice is low. I can tell he's lying down. My homework. What about you? I'm in bed. I just called to say goodnight. There's a pause. Hey, how come you never call me to say goodnight? I don't know. I guess I never thought of it. Do you want me to? Well, you don't have to. I just wondered why not. I thought you hated the whole last call thing. Remember? You put it in the contract. You said that Genevieve insisted that she be your last call every night, and it was annoying. He groans. Can we please not talk about her? Also, why is your memory so good? You remember everything. It's my gift and my curse. I highlight a paragraph and try to balance the phone on my shoulder. But it keeps slipping. So wait, do you want me to call you every night or not? Just forget it. Fine, I say, and I can hear him smiling through the phone. Bye. Bye. Wait, can you bring me one of those yogurt drinks for lunch? Say please. Please. Say pretty please. Bye. Bye. It takes me another 2 hours to finish my homework, but when I fall asleep that night, I fall asleep smiling. I think my dad is on a date. Tonight he said he had plans with a friend, and he shaved and put on a nice button-down shirt and not one of his ratty sweaters. He was in a hurry to leave, so I didn't ask who the friend was. Someone from the hospital, probably. Daddy doesn't exactly have wide social circles. He's shy. Whoever it is, this sounds like a good thing. As soon as he leaves, I turn to Kitty, who is lying on the couch watching TV and licking the sour off sour gummies. Jamie lies asleep next to her. Kitty, do you think Daddy's on a date? Duh. And you're okay with it? Sure. Though I'd rather it was with someone I knew and already liked. What if he got married again? Would you be okay with that? Sure. So you can quit making your concerned big sister face at me, all right? I try to smooth my face out like a blank sheet of paper. Serenely I say, so you're saying you're okay with Daddy getting married again? It's just a date, Lara Jean. People don't get married off of one measly date. But they do off of a lot of dates. A flash of worry crosses her face, and then she says, we'll just wait and see. There's no point in getting all revved up yet. I wouldn't say I'm revved up, exactly, but I am curious. When I told Grandma I wouldn't mind if Daddy dated, I meant it, but I do want to know that she's good enough for him, whoever she is. I change the subject. What do you want for your birthday? I ask her. I've got a list going, she says. A new collar for Jamie. Leather. With spikes. A treadmill. A treadmill. Yeah, I want to teach Jamie how to walk on one. I doubt Daddy will go for a treadmill, Kitty. They're really expensive, and besides, where would we even put it? Okay, fine. Scratch the treadmill. I also want night vision goggles. You should CC Margot on that. What kinds of special things can I get only from Scotland? She asks, genuine Scottish shortbread. A tartan kilt. What else? Golf balls. Loch Ness Monster paraphernalia. What's paraphernalia? A stuffed Loch Ness Monster. A Loch Ness t-shirt. Maybe a glow-in-the-dark poster. Stop right there. That's a good idea. I'm gonna add that to my list. After Kitty goes to bed, I clean up the kitchen. I even scrub the stove with a Brillo pad and organize the refrigerator, so that I can give Daddy the 3rd degree the second he gets home. I'm refilling the flour canister when Daddy walks through the door. Casually I say, "How was your date?" He frowns in confusion. Date? I went to the symphony with my colleague Marjorie. Her husband came down with the flu, and she didn't want the ticket to go to waste. I deflate. Oh. Humming, he pours himself a glass of water and says, I should go to the symphony more often. Any interest, Lara Jean? Maybe, I say. I make myself a stack of snickerdoodles, and I run up to my room and sit down at my desk. Munching on one, I open up my computer and type in dating for dads, and lo and behold I find a dating site for single parents. Start drafting a profile. First things first, he'll need a profile pic. I start going through the photos of him on my computer. There are hardly any of him alone. I finally settle on 2, which I bookmark, one from last summer at the beach, a full-length shot, because that's one of the tips on the website, and one of him from this past Christmas, wearing that Scandinavian sweater we got him. He's carving a roast chicken, and he looks dottish in a wholesome coffee commercial way but still vital. The dim dining room light makes him look hardly wrinkled at all, just some crinkles around the eyes. Which reminds me, I should get on him about wearing sunscreen every day. A men's skincare kit could be a good Father's Day gift. I make a note of it in my reminders. Daddy is only in his early 40s. That's still plenty young enough to meet someone and fall in love, maybe 2 or 3 times over, even. When Kitty was born, I said she looked like a kitten and not a Catherine, so that's the name that stuck. After we came home from visiting her and Mommy,